What's going on, guys? So welcome to a new devlog of Distance Travelers, and in this one I just want to go over a few things and just show you kind of behind the scenes of how I work and what the progress on the game is doing. So first thing I wanted to do this week is I wanted to get the map view to be able to move around and zoom in and zoom out. So I thought I'd do it the old way that I used to do it, not realising a few things have changed with the code. So I've started by creating a variable which will let us know whether the map is open, so it'll stop all the other functions of the game to let the map view move around and zoom out and stuff without affecting the main game. So I created a camera object which we'll put in to the map view, and then I started creating the controls, so finding out whether the player was pressing WASD to move the camera around the screen, and also I was going to set up the scroll wheel to be able to zoom the camera in and out. So I started doing it the old way, not realising things had changed. I don't know why it changed from the old view way, but they sort of implemented this whole new camera system, and at this point I started looking at the settings and I was thinking this isn't going to work. So I started typing them out and I thought, I don't know much about this. So I looked at the wiki, went through a few pages and thought, you know what, I haven't got time to learn this. Let's put it on the back burner. So there we go, we started on the new thing, which is multiple stations. So I wanted to have multiple stations in the universe. So the way I've set out stations at the minute, it seems pretty robust when it comes to adding new stations. It should be pretty easy. So I went and checked all the code, because it's been a while since I've been on this project, and then started creating a new station to spawn as the game launches. So I just copied the code for the current station, changed a few things, made it so it was a local variable, so it would spawn with its own parameters. And then I encountered a bug which I didn't think would happen. So I thought, you know what, we'll just leave that for now, come back to that again. And I realised that we hadn't set targets, so when I go in the map view and see the new station, I can't set it as a target because there's no directions is pointing to where the target is. So I started adding it into the controls on the map screen, and I thought, why am I adding it there? That's just more places to add more directions than is needed, so I just needed to add it in one place really. So I opened the station and set a quick variable which I can just set on spawn of the station, which is 10 times easier and lets less code be added that I'll have to change in the future. So I just went back to the first one, straightened it up a little bit and added that new code where it'll give you the variable of where the station's actually located in the universe. So I added just the XY coordinates, which is pretty simple, and then put it in for the second one, not realising I hadn't changed the code there, apart from that little hiccup. Not realised I hadn't changed the code, so it was still pointing us to the first station, which was entirely wrong, and I couldn't understand why. It really had us boggled. So I went back and I realised I'd missed out a 2, and it was that simple. So we did a quick test in the game to make sure that it was working, and of course it wasn't. It was still setting the wrong target, so we ended up at a totally wrong destination. We ended up at the actual sun. So here you see I actually cancelled the warp because I figured out what was going wrong, but some reason in my head I kind of carried on with it just to see where I was going, and then I realised, oh yeah, that's where I'm going. And I realised I hadn't set the capital ship as a target in the map view, so I can't actually target it in the map view. So I had to quickly check back there, get the coordinates for the capital ship, and then head towards the capital ship, because I don't have enough fuel in this little fighter to be able to make it to the new station, because I just kind of put it in the opposite direction of the original station just for testing purposes. All this is going to get moved around and it's going to get set out properly and everything once I get the map working, and obviously for convenience of gameplay rather than just development. So obviously here we go on the capital ship and going towards the new station, which is targeted, and the coordinates you can see down in the bottom left are actually working. They're set to -2000 by -2000, which is the correct location of where the station should be. So hopefully, fingers crossed. Yeah, it actually came out the right place. Now I wanted to launch the craft, and another bug. Yeah, it didn't realise that it wasn't a capital ship, so when it asked for docking permission, the station thought it was a capital ship, give it a big docking port, and tried to land us there, and also all the controls and everything were wrong. So I thought I'd go back to that bug about the boost while I was on with fixing the ship, and I thought it was because the variable wasn't getting declared at the start of the ship creation. But that wasn't the case. It was actually, I'd renamed the starter ship. When I first created the project, I just named it Start, but I'd renamed it to Hepler. So all the places where I'd called it Start were wrong, and they needed replacing with Hepler, which is a mess, and one of the reasons why this project is taking so long, because my code is just all over the place and really needs cleaning up, which is something I've got on the list to do, but it will take so long to clean all this code up. Honestly, like, getting my head around it, if I've had a few days off developing, then I go back to it, I really struggle to read what's going on where, and that's kind of why I've lost a little bit of interest, but I'm slowly getting back into it. So I thought I'd clean this little section up where it was, because the way the buttons were working for docking to the capital ship and docking to the station were kind of buggy, so I created their own little scripts where it'll scan for the capital ship and it'll scan for the station, because I don't want the station to be able to, the capital ship to be able to dock with the station. So I've set it up in a way I can call a variable, whether we're not in the capital ship, it will scan for the docking ports of the station, and then it will only scan for the station if we are not in the capital ship. So then we've also set it up so if you're not in the capital ship, you can search for the capital ship without interfering with the station docking and stuff like that. It's long story to understand, but that's pretty much it. Just, you can only dock to one at a time, and that's logical. You're not going to be docking to two things at once. So I kind of boosted past the capital ship there. That was just because I'd put in boost and I haven't fixed the bug where boost makes you travel a little bit faster. But then here comes another bug. I docked to the capital ship and the button kind of messed up, and it didn't realise what was going on, and that was because I hadn't put in one simple question to check whether or not it was docking or whether it was already in the capital ship. So a quick little line and that was fixed straight away, so it was back to normal. But then we created another one where the button would stay there. Even when the little Cortex menu was hidden, it would stay there. And we'll come to that in a little bit later, once we figure out the mess of the docking button. So yeah, this whole episode's pretty much just about one simple button, because it was the bane of my life for quite a while, and it was putting us off actually developing the game further. But I'm getting back to it and I'm enjoying it again. So here we go, going to the new station to test everything out once again. So if we launch the fighter, it is still classed as a capital for some reason. So I go into it here and realise there's another word where it's classed as start after you get out of the capital ship. So we definitely need to clean that up for once we change ship names and stuff like that. So at this point I had the idea, I was getting sick of actually travelling in the game, so I just brought the two objects in, not realising the capital ship had to be spawned before a few other things for it to actually work, because the way the order runs in Gamemaker, it's kind of weird the way it sets variables in creation order and stuff like that. It's a bit strange, but anyway, I took them out and just bit the bullet of travelling. I should really move things closer, but the map screen, because I haven't sorted that with the map screen, it doesn't quite work like that. So as you can see there, when you request docking, the button kind of disappears and it doesn't show what it's meant to show. It's meant to show to go to this pad, stop on this pad. So I'll take a look at the code here about the docking and try and figure out what was wrong. And then I realise it's simply because I'm calling a question at the wrong point, if that makes sense. It's kind of just registering as it's already docked, then hiding the button to show that it's, you know, it's docked, that part of the docking situation is over. So I quickly fixed that by moving a few things around, very messily as I see here. This code is not the most delicate of things, it's pretty messy. And of course we'll get interdicted on our travels. That's another thing on the list. I really need to fix enemy movement because it is all over the place. But the way I've coded the game, it's really difficult to get the enemy movement to work properly, which is why I've been thinking lately of moving over to Unity, but it's going to be a lot of hard work, and I don't know whether it will work with floating point error in Unity that Unity has. I don't think it'll be as big as I would like it to be, but anyway, I'll think about that a little more later on. So there you go, the button is working, it's showing the correct thing. So if I launch here, there it's telling us to dock at docking port number 1, and open the station from there and jump back out, and it'll all close it back down and see the correct wording. So I'm very happy with that. But I want to take off the launch fighter button every time you're in the capital ship. It's still showing the button. And that's another case of simply not asking enough questions when it's needed. So all it was a quick little change, and there you go, the button is now gone. So thank you very much for joining us in this one, and I hope you enjoy. We'll get back to the map screen in the next one and we'll fix that hopefully. And let us know what you think about changing it to Unity.